Should be starting. Should be starting. It actually started 8 seconds ago.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of the Rallying Cry podcast. With you're joining Dan, Liam, and myself. Hi, Liam.
It's becoming a thing, this, isn't it?
All episodes, we're doing well.
Hello, yeah, we're doing all right. We've not killed each other yet.
And we've nearly hit 40 subscribers.
We've gone past 40.
We've gone past it now.
I think we're 43 now.
Oh, jeez.
We're getting there. We'll be able to retire soon.
So this week we're going to talk about recent things.
Yeah.
We've had some new release information out there. We're going to have a look at that. We've had some hobby and gaming as usual. And then we might have a bit of a discussion towards the end around a special topic. We'll see how we're getting on for time. So let's go for it. Shall we talk about the big release news?
I think so.
Beastmen.
Yeah, okay then. Liam, I think this is your stage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's add Liam to the stage. Here we go. Ready, guys? 1, 2, 3. Pooh! Here we are. Oh,
I spent 2 minutes putting together some pictures while we talk about this.
You can tell how professional Liam is compared to me and you, Jack.
Beastmen and Wood Elves. So I don't know, probably haven't said before, but Beastmen are my sort of main army, I'd say. So I'm very excited for these to finally get a release. Not that I need any new models because I've got them all, maybe apart from the new special character. So he'll be nice to add to the gang. And Wood Elves, I'm in a similar position. I've pretty much got all them as well. So hopefully my wallet shouldn't be hammered too hard. I'll save that for the other big release.
Yeah. It's like we've all got Beastmen armies at this point.
I mean,
Mine's still on circles.
I didn't until yesterday. I bought an entire Beastman army and it turned up yesterday. So, yeah,
that was some quick. I hear most made to orders are like 200 days these days.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Thanks to a mate of mine, Tommy. He actually played in the AOS, and obviously they are no longer a thing. So, well, they are actually. They're not being took out yet. Is it June? June or July?
Yeah, it's like 12 months, wasn't it?
Yeah, then they're obviously out. You know what's really triggering me about this photo you've got on Alien? This picture from the GW. Look in the bottom right corner.
Yeah.
That unit there. Why is it just? Why is it 5 ranked up like that?
It's skirmishing.
Yeah, that's the minimum unit of skirmishing. They're your ambushers. They've come on ambushing.
Yeah, but it's just like propped up there. Yeah, I think that the Beastman thing is. What I like about it, I mean, I've not painted the army, but they look very simple to paint. I did buy mine simple to paint. Thing to paint. But I don't know if me and you discussed this actually via text. So the Beastmen have obviously got the new wizard character, right? The new Bray Shaman.
Yeah.
The name characters, isn't they? But then the Wood Elves have got nothing yet.
Doesn't look like they've got any new models coming.
Yeah.
I get the feeling they would have been shown at Adepticon
if
they were.
I don't know. I think they had so much to show there. I think they had to keep something behind to make something a bit exciting in the next 3 to 4 to 5 months while we're waiting for them to come out, right?
I think the big one for me with the Wood Elves is Orion's back. I actually really like that model. It's and you get with the hands as well. So I'm really happy.
Yeah, it's the old metal one, isn't it?
Yeah, the old metal one. Yeah. I suppose the one thing they do have in that is obviously Old Dragon, which is there as you can see. Yeah. But I think they brought the named Glade Guard guy back, at the Araloth.
Araloth, yeah.
Yeah, because he was in the end times, wasn't he?
Yeah, I can only remember never really heard of him before, and I can remember his story in the end times.
Yeah, was he the one who showed Alariel through the portal?
Yeah, went through the portals, met that Grey Knight, and then came back to world
Yeah.
it was.
Grey Knight clearly
Yeah.
a Stormcast now.
He was
Yeah.
he was in the 8th edition, and he was the most
Yeah.
overcosted, worst ruled character in 8th edition. I think, like, without question, he was the worst character in 8th edition. So
poor
I'm
Arrow.
hoping he'll get some decent rules brought
Hopefully.
back to him. So what do we think about the battalion boxes? I'm a bit
So
disappointed with the Beastmen one.
the Beastman one isn't great. The Wood Elf one
No.
might be the best one yet, because it's got 6 different units in it.
Yeah, it's got the
Yeah,
units
because
that
you
you
can-
need as well, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them, like the Orc one, for instance, no one's ever going to run 40 goblins. Not the spear ones anymore, the normal
Yeah.
ones. And nobody's going to run the big 30 block of orcs. I don't think.
No.
It's big enough to have. It's like enough boys to do one unit, but too
Yeah.
many to use all of them.
Yeah.
Not enough to do 2.
Yeah, I think that's why I was just leaning on. So I think the Beastman one's very similar. It doesn't really give you everything you need. It's almost like you need to buy this one and then another one to get everything you need. Because I've not played with the Beastman properly, but I'm pretty sure you need like 40 of everything to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like you're looking probably for 30 gore if you wanted to do the gore block with a sort of Doom Balloon. Otherwise, you want 5 and have a minimum ambushing unit. Bestigor, I've not seen anyone run Bestigor yet.
Funny that I've rebased 40 of them. I want to run Bestigor for that.
Well,
exact
I've
reason.
got 60 from my 8th edition army, and they are not being rebased anytime soon.
Well, I'll tell you how to play them then, Jack. When I'm doing events with 40 Bestigor.
I'll look forward to it. But yeah, like there's no chariots in the box. There's no Razor Gore. Like they seem the staple of most armies.
I think the problem is with those ones is the resin, aren't they? I think the Finecast resin.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised at the chariots, because I thought they may have redone them, to bring them into line with all the other stuff. Because I think every Beastman army has either a character or a couple of chariots anyway, doesn't it? I believe.
Yeah.
On chariot, should I say?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but I'm happy about like the Jabba Scythe back and the Praeton that's back as well. They're cool models.
Excited to see what rules that gets.
Yeah, definitely.
I worry that it's just going to basically be like a Bargle. Like it's just basically going to be a frenzy. It's not high enough unit strength to get the close order bonus. It's just going to get pulled around the board, but we'll wait and see. I think. But yeah, I imagine it's going to be just basically a Bargle, but in a Beastman army without Crumble.
But obviously, these weren't the only releases previewed at Adepticon.
They were not.
Absolutely not.
So I think it's a bit of a shock, really. This it was to me anyway. I thought maybe I was thinking we'd be lucky to get a look at some Wood Elves.
Yeah, in my head it was full Beastman reveal and maybe a new Wood Elf model.
Yeah,
get shown off like we did at the last one, and then next time it would be something like this.
My actual hope for the Wood Elves was that they redid the Sisters of Twilight model.
Yeah, well, they might because the dragon's
dragon,
there, isn't it?
Nice. Yeah, so I think it is that dragon we saw in the previous picture. It is that dragon, isn't it? Just with the 2 sisters on it, right?
Yeah,
I think it is that one.
It's the only Wood Elf dragon, right?
Yeah.
I
can't remember. Does that one have all the little things clinging to it? Because I know the Sisters of Twilight one has like loads of little spritelings.
I really do like
that
dragon. Actually, that dragon's like the proper old classic fantasy dragon, isn't it?
Yeah, but you compare that to the new dragon.
Well, we'll get onto that, shall we?
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm so happy. I mean, I've been playing them in Total War as well quite a bit. But yeah, I think this is what it's missing, isn't it? I think when they obviously first announced the old world and stuff like that, and had all the Cathay and the Kislev stuff, and I think everyone's just been like, "Oh, we hope they do." And then obviously they dropped the bombshell, which was, "Oh yeah, we're not going to do them yet." But I don't think anyone expected them to be this early. Yeah, exactly. At least even this year, I would have thought.
Yeah, no. And it's interesting that like if you look back in the rulebook now, there's a lot of art which matches perfectly to like the new characters and stuff. So I think at some point we need to do a deep dive into the rulebook and have a proper look at what art's hidden in there and see if there's anything else that might give some boost for the future.
Cool. That'd be awesome. I think with the one thing I've been talking to the guys at the local club is, I think a lot of the not the sculpts obviously, but a lot of the artwork was pre-done anyway because it was all done by Creative Assembly, right?
Yeah.
So that almost got took out of their hands because it was, it's theirs that have done it, and then they've gone, right, there you go, there's your sketches, get them built 3D, there you go, boom. I think it was from the looks of it, it's a stunning transition.
Do we think these will play like the Empire sort of play style?
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll be more like an elite Empire. Looking at like the Jade Guard and stuff like that, the highly skilled warriors that I'd probably say they're quite more armored than the Empire guys and slightly better.
They definitely look it, don't they?
So you think they'll get up to weapon skill 4? These guys is like core infantry.
Yeah.
I think it's like humans. It's like there's talking to us about weapon skill. It's kind of like if you're rubbish, you're 2. If you're had a bit of training, if you've had a bit of training when you get called up to the army for the people invade, then you get 3.
Or an elf.
And elves and elite humans are 4.
Yeah.
And then 5's usually the cap outside of Grail Knights or like, what are they, the White Lions, special White Lions.
Yeah. I mean, because even the Knights of the Realm are only 4, I think,
4.
aren't they?
Yeah.
So they're in. I think to me they would be in that bracket of elite train, especially the Jade stuff. Because obviously, I mean, if everyone's played the Total War, there's all the peasant stuff that we might see in the future as well. So I think they would then go probably back to like the Empire State Troops.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
That line.
I'm just looking at these now, and I'm thinking it looks like I'm looking at a army on 20 mil bases. They fill those bases up so much.
Well, I had this conversation when my friend Tom dropped the Beastman army off, and he was asking me about the scale and stuff, because he's doing a bad thing, which I don't think anyone should do because they should just play this in Old World. Is a lot of the AOS players are wanting to transfer these over to cities, which makes sense because they're stunning models. But he wanted to see the scale right. And I probably did this in the wrong way. So I give him a scale kind of comparison with General Lowenhack and the Empire State Troops. So I was like, well, this is kind of what scale I'm hoping it isn't, but this is the more recent model. And they look at this guy and he was like, oh God, like, but I'm hoping it's not like that. My one thing for them, I mean, they already look detailed, is they don't have all the stuff that the AOS models are, so they're easier to paint.
Yeah, they have all the tassels and dangles and.
Yeah, they don't look too bad because it just looks like, is it laminar armor and a bit of cloth? So we might get away with it.
Can we all appreciate that middle banner though? By the way, is that free?
They've got to be. They're transfers.
They're transfers. Yeah, it does say on the article that you get transfers with it as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it was,
someone's free-handed that's
So I think the setting as well is the setting. I didn't read all of the article.
They're basically like a.
It's in the Civil War bit, isn't it? Because they have like a Civil War, I believe, as well.
Are these some like naval people like come over on a little boat to say hello to the Old World rather than us seeing part of Cathay?
I don't know. Yeah,
I've not seen those trees anywhere else in the Old World before.
This is it. Yeah,
the boat is clearly taken in Cathay,
and the background there with all the pagodas and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think this is the thing. I don't know if they really said about the setting, did they? Because they're just there.
Yeah, so I didn't know why that was why we weren't seeing peasants, because we're taking our army and ship them somewhere rather than.
But then again, imagine transporting one of the terracotta sentinels over on a ship.
Well, they just walk alongside the ship.
I mean, that's the exciting thing, though, isn't it? It's like I was saying to someone else earlier. We've now know the 9 armies. Like we've got the arcane journals up to the end of Wood Elves.
Yeah.
We've got these now as the next big thing after that.
Yeah.
And no one knows what's coming next. So it's all these exciting what if moments.
Yes.
Like for all we know, these could be out over summer, and then by Easter next year we've got Kislev or full-on Norska or anything daft going in between. And it's really just an exciting time to be playing Old World.
Yeah, I guess because Kislev, that has Total War skins and stuff like that, so it feels like they could be put out just as easily as these seem to have appeared out of nowhere. And
what I would like to have seen, and I know these guys are called the Jade Lancers, because obviously these are very Chinese, ancient China, Asian, the Three Kingdoms style models. I'd have loved to have seen the Lancers with glaives, like the big. Not like the one the infantry have got, big, like scything glaives where they get AP3 on the charge and like all the like normal lancers, and then they just go back to AP1.
The whatever it's called on the Great Spirit Longmow's got a glaive, hasn't it?
Yeah.
That kind of weapon instead of
then they're just. I mean, I know they're called Jade Lancers, but I think that would have met like the kind of Asian like. Aesthetic, and it could have set them apart from every other cavalry because they're just heavy cavalry. They're probably what Empire Knights should have been, because the Empire Knights only weapon skill 3, I believe. I would imagine these guys are going to be 4 or 5 maybe, because they're very heavy cavalry, aren't they?
You can always
convert them game anyway.
You can always convert them up down, give them some nice big glaives.
Yeah, hopefully you get a lot of the glaives in their kit from the, like you said, the champion guy. Could look cool.
Have we got some more pictures?
I think the next bit I did was where I asked you to pick your favourite model.
Oh, go on then, who's first?
So, the first one is Dan.
Oh, it's me. Yeah.
Why is this your favourite model?
She is. She's stunning. Because, I mean, so interestingly, I was actually speaking to the manager of the Sheffield Element store. We would like, how is this going to transition from person to dragon? Because the mechanics is going to be interesting. But anyway,
I imagine you'll have to be outside the unit,
possibly, I don't know.
This dragon transports 3 inches away from the unit or something like that.
They could go with anything, really, couldn't they? I mean, they just make it all up as they go along. Anyway.
I mean, like fanatics are on a different side, on a round base, and
because she looks on quite a big base though. I'm assuming that's 30 or 50 maybe, or 40 maybe. Could be 40.
I think Jack's right, 50, so it fits inside a unit, but it's like 225s wide.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously the dragon version, though, the celestial dragon version is clearly on a monster base. The 60 by 100, is it?
Well, or is it the 50, 100 by 150? And
the Terror guy.
It doesn't look like it. I haven't.
Sure.
I can't remember. Is there a picture of that compared to the next to the terracotta?
No, but there's one showing it sideways at a full time. It looks like a long base.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I just love it. I mean, I've played Miao Ying in the Total War campaign, and she's cool in that. I really love the human version. I mean, she's not human; she's a demigod, or a god. But I love the rocks, and I know a lot of people like a lot of the. I know 40k, for instance, like dreadnoughts. Oh, we'll just put a leg up on a rock, and that's pretty much the scenic base done. But this works because none of the actual dragon is touching the floor.
Yeah, both her and the dragon
within the because within the game they float. They don't ever touch the floor. When they fight, they kind of just swoop in and hit stuff.
It does make me worry though. Like one slight misalignment in making, and it's like the terror guys on the rocks. Like it's never gonna.
Yeah. Like I was on my screen. I was looking at it and thinking like that's got to be plastic just because of all the
the whole range is. They said.
Yep.
Amazing. Even
new Games Workshop kits aren't like the old Games Workshop kits.
Yeah.
You do end up like interlocking pieces and sliding them in, so you can't get it wrong, and it will hold. Like I built enough Marauder stuff.
That's the selling point for me. I think the only thing, my not even an issue, but it's more my only concern is how it's going to play. But yeah, the foot model is probably my favorite part of that. She's just the whole dynamic of it is just so nice, like with the cape flowing and stuff like that, and floating on the rocks. The dragon's lovely. I can see that dragon being converted into all sorts, but I don't know if it's an actual design thing as well, where the actual back of the dragon is turning sideways, so you probably can't just stick a guy on the back of it, for instance. So it's my new high elf dragon.
Reminds me a lot of the old Charybdis model, like the posture, minus the head, obviously. Like it reminds me of, and the armor.
Yeah.
So it reminds me a lot of the old Charybdis model they had for Dark Elves.
Yeah, because obviously the celestial dragons are not like your
fantasy dragons.
Yeah, your fantasy type dragons. They are like the China dragons, which are the more lizards more than anything. You know, the actual proper the Asian aesthetic dragon, which it's stunning. I mean, out of all of it, I think that for me that's my favorite one anyway, and which is why it's there. But yeah, it's definitely a centerpiece model. Definitely.
Let me ask the question: who's going to have a Cathay army?
I'm all in.
I've currently got
£80 saved towards it, aren't you? Then
no, I've got more than that now. I've sold some ogre stuff. I've got 165. So I've at least got.
You can afford those two. You can afford those.
Yeah,
two.
I can afford her.
No,
and colour scheme wise, do you think you'd go for that colour scheme, like the royal purple, imperial purple?
Yes, because she's a named character. I definitely paint her like that. I think the Jade Infantry can be pretty much anything, and then you just paint the banners different. Because I'm almost certain in the game, whichever faction you go for, it's just the banners that are different.
Okay.
Apart from the peasants, they kind of change colour in the game, but I'm almost certain. Obviously, Jade's Jade. It's the green colour, isn't it? So, and I think a lot of their armor's leathery type armor, which has got like just metal stubs on it. So I think you can get away with that and just painting any kind of banner. But yeah, I probably will go box art with. I do like to anyway with the main characters. So, but yeah, cool. I'll be doing that.
And I can't help but look at the armor now and the dragon and see a little beastie Liam after Pip's comment in the WhatsApp the other day. There's the little jewel at the nose and the two little gold studs as eyes.
Yeah. I'm discussing if armor shrinks or changes when people shape transform. I'm like, it's magic. We sort of told, no, it's alive, and it just changes how it wants to be.
Yeah, it does what it wants. It's a dragon. It's a celestial dragon. It's a god dragon.
Yeah, exactly. I think Jack's favourite model is next, and from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Oh yeah, I know what this is.
My God. I just love the simplicity.
Fu Manchu.
Yeah, and like to be fair, all the artillery crews look so awesome. They all have so much character. Like you look at your sort of Empire artillery crew and that sort of stuff, and it's just some men with a little pokey stick and that sort of stuff. Whereas these guys just they look ace.
Do you know what I love about this guy? He's got all those robes on. He's just got nice coat, and then he's got some armored shin pads on.
Have you never
pointy shoes?
Have you never stubbed like your shin on your tow bar on your car? This is what this is protection for.
Not to go that heavily armored.
If you've done it more than once and hit the same spot, you'd definitely be wearing armor on. And I imagine these cannons, all sorts of proddy pokey bits sticking out.
This model doesn't show it, but that rocket under his arm, the stick it's attached to is a full bamboo like twig.
It's long.
And you see it in some other pictures, and it's absolutely brilliant that it's a massive bit of bamboo rather than just a normal stick like the Empire ones are.
Yeah, because it's just like a stick with a rocket on the end of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that is literally bamboo with a rocket on the end of it. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what this is doing though? With the whole Cathay thing, I've now got to probably make two boards for the event of Cathay.
This is what literally I was googling as we set the chat up. How big is a display? How big is a Warhammer display board?
Yeah.
After seeing the Adepticon ones from
Did you see the Teletubbies one? The Gargants. That was incredible. That's my favourite.
So I think I'll be also going towards a nice display board at some point shortly. Yeah,
I think the other thing I've noticed, I don't know if do they do this on all the bases now on GW? Brown rims.
Yeah, they have for a little while.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, all mine always get painted black anyway, but like, I'm not too sure. See, I like bases to pop. Yeah. So like, if you put a black rim on that, the base will stand out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like brown rims, but I go for a sort of more Well, I go for like Mornfan brown, so it's more of a
yours is more
ready
brown, isn't it?
So I did go for a phase of using these sort of browns. I think it's called like not UB40, but it's something along those lines.
Is it Steel Legion Drab, isn't it?
It might be Steel Legion Drab actually. So I've got, I think my dwarves are on that sort of colour. But everything else I've been sort of shifting across to the Mornfang brown. Just as you said, it just makes it pop a bit because I go for a very dark basic material. It just has a nice contrast to it.
What I am hoping actually, so the crew, I'm hoping you get multiple heads because I love that head. And I'm hoping that's separate.
Your whole army of those heads.
Yeah, I'd have a unit of guys with beards.
Get your blue stuff molds out and
I mean that beard's incredible.
Yeah. The eyebrows have got.
Yeah, that was literally what I was about to say. Yeah, it's probably one of the only GW models that I've seen where they painted the eyebrows.
They wouldn't get painted in my army.
You'd have to. He's got a bald head.
He doesn't even get eyes. He doesn't even get eyes.
Well, yeah.
All my models are blinking in perpetuity. Cool. So come on, Liam. Don't leave us in suspense. Let's see what your favourite model is.
I went for the Sentinel big lad.
The big boy.
I really love the idea that these are the little blurb, not the blurb and the article. When they were talking through the units models as they were showing them off on the stream, they were on about how these are made from different types of stone, and then they rules slightly amend, kind of like a Mark of Chaos, but not.
Okay, so you could have like a granite one, which is
exactly
+1 toughness, and a sandstone one, which is I don't know.
Yeah, there's a jade one as well, which is I think it's a character one in the game, but there's a jade one, and there's one with a massive bolt thrower, but it has wings as well and flies. So
that's like a special character one, isn't it?
Yeah, that one looks cool. But no, I do like this as well. And do you know what I think about it as well? How easy are those to paint?
Oh yeah,
I think I've never done that baby white marble technique.
Yeah,
and I think this could be outstanding with that.
Yeah, that'd be sick. But like, you could do that for the whole army. Like you could do the whole army as like a terracotta army type.
Yeah, I think I was mentioning one of the groups, wasn't it?
Yeah,
someone's like planning on doing like a terracotta style army.
But yeah, seeing this though makes me think. Just like I think it opens up doors for like dwarfs getting stone golems and stuff like that. So it'd be really cool to see how.
That's exactly what I mean. It's what comes next. It's like we've only got so many models of old ones that they can bring back that aren't being used, so they've got to go forward.
Yeah, and given how fast they've been, developing these, I'm hoping that this is why we haven't seen too many new models in the existing armies, because they've been so focused on this. So now that they've got this over the line, and hopefully like them working in sort of conjunction with getting Kislev developed, then we might start seeing then new models for the older armies, not the legacy armies, but the sort of pre-existing armies.
Don't swear, we'll get demonetized.
Well, that was a nice little segue, because this week we just got up to pre-order a few hours, well, going up to pre-order this Saturday.
Yep.
We actually have a load of Vampire Count models.
We do.
New Graveguard and new Black Knights, which I think is the next slide.
And some high elves. Yay! Real army there.
So I love this White King on Skeletal Steed.
Yeah, he's cool.
And we'll talk about it a little bit later on, but I've just spent some time converting up a White King on Skeletal Steed. So to see this then suddenly appear, I'm really annoyed.
So I was saying to my friend Tom, the Graveguard.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the shields and the weapons, not so much the helmets. I was saying this, they look very Kislev. Is it the Boyars?
Yes.
They look very similar to those, like the shields and the armor they're wearing. And I was like, I wonder if they're bringing Kislev back. They're doing one of those switcheroos. They're bringing Kislev back in the old world as Vehicos, because obviously all the characters aren't they of Vehicos.
I wonder how easy it'd just be to do. Like, I don't know how much bones I'm showing a lot of these, but like doing head swaps to some like human-y heads, and suddenly you got Kislev sort of infantry.
Yeah. That's it.
There's far too much bone looking at them.
Yeah,
on the steeds definitely, but it just looks like maybe the arm and a head on these that you can see.
Yeah, well, they definitely gone with the newer Death Rattle skeleton sculpts, where like the bits of their armor are chipped away. And there's
row,
obviously the bones and stuff through there. Yeah.
The green stuff, fill up the gaps, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
So what base size are these?
We don't know yet, but they will either be 32 or 28.5.
So
would be my guess. 28.5 would be the proper guess.
So a bit bigger than a 25. So
Yeah,
on a diagonal on a 25, do we think the rank?
Well, it's weird. So that like the White King looks like he's on the 60.
Oh, the White King's on. Yeah, well, you have to trim that rock down massively to get that on the 30 by 60.
Well, but then you look at the cavalry. They should be on bigger bases, but they're clearly not. They're
maybe he's on something massive.
No, but like if you look at like the overhang on the model, I reckon they should be on the heavy cavalry base, but they're not. They look like they're on the ones that they used to be on.
One. Yeah.
Which is, it's not a shame. I mean, they fit, that's fine, but like you say, it's whether you can fit them onto squares, because that's what we're all about, right? Just fitting all that box onto a square base.
Definitely. They're very arms out and shields on angles.
Yeah.
I think getting them to rank, there'd be a lot of stones and chopping some off to make them coming out the ground and that sort of stuff too.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's GW. Obviously, they know what they're doing, and they're probably doing that for the exact reason that there is no crossover unless you're gonna work for it, which is fine. It's not one of those
too much.
No,
like are chosen in AOS on 40mm bases.
Yes,
I think they are, and they fit on 30s for Old World.
They do,
yeah. So, like, I'm sure that a little creative positioning, maybe every third one at an angle.
I've got 14 ranked up.
Yeah,
in odd positions. So they do, they do. I mean, my Warriors of Chaos part of my Chaos army is all the AOS models, and it is just a bit of tinkering around, like the Knights. The Knights obviously on bigger base on AOS, aren't they? And all I've done is just put some cork down just so they stand, so that just so the capes are different angles and stuff.
Even if you have every third or fourth base as a gravestone, something, and it just helps you get them in.
Well, the thing with the old world kits is you get so many different bits that you can just convert up or raise any of your bases or do anything anyway. So
by the time you stole that little coffin that the white steed stood on, you can use that as a unit filler, because he wouldn't fit on he's not fitting on his capital base using that.
Yeah, that's 4 guys in the middle, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, six maybe.
Right, should we get this off the screen and go on to hobby?
Oh some high elves as well.
I mean, high elves. Yeah, I mean,
whatever.
I think this is the one thing that everyone's been not complaining about, but like, when's Wave 2 coming? Oh, we've got Cathay now. Don't care about Wave 2. Oh, now Wave 2's here.
The Shadow Warriors sisters. It's very good. It's very good.
And I'm assuming we're going to get to see 20 of those as well. I know it only shows you 10 there, but I would assume we're going to get a 20 box, like the rest of the range.
I'll go have a look while we're doing the next topic.
Probably. But although I saw there was some weird number for the Sea Guard, it was 25 or 35. It was some odd number.
Is it? It might. Yeah, I think it might be something weird. But it shows you 2 units though, doesn't it, in the box? I don't know.
But what, 2 units of
12.5? Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I don't know. Is it 36 then? Maybe.
It was a 5. It was a 5 as the sort of secondary number. It was either 25 or 35. I can't remember which, but it just seemed very odd. I guess you have one unit of one with a character in to round it up to.
It is 35.
Yeah, but it says a 20 and a 15.
Okay.
So you only get 2 command options.
All right.
It just must be how the sprues were from Isle of Blood.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, because that just sounds like a 40 and a.
It's a 40 with a unit filler, right?
Yeah.
And sisters are 10.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Or, if you got 35, you got a couple of characters in. I guess it gets you to about 40.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, because you can't fit that many sisters in an army either.
No. Unless you're doing very building around.
Yeah, because they fit in rare unless you take a
handmaiden.
I'll go on what the handmaiden. So you kind of limited on what you can take, and obviously with the Merworm and stuff out now as well, it's all fits in your rare.
Has anyone seen that in play yet?
A mealworm, yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced by its points, but it's okay because it's 225, and if it can get there if you're not getting shot by cannonballs, I guess. But that's most monsters anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, he just doesn't have the killing power, I don't think, personally.
Yeah. Shall we push on to some hobby?
Cool.
Yeah, who wants to go first?
Liam, sounds like you just volunteered.
Well, okay.
Go for them.
Right, so I've done absolutely zero actual hobby making models, painting, that kind of thing. I moved all my models from here in front of my monitor to here on the windowsill, which I can literally touch, and they haven't moved back yet. So until I need them, they're stuck over there. But JD came down last weekend, just gone.
I'm going to say, is that JD's army? Yeah.
Yeah, played a couple of games. First one, against his Tomb Kings. I was proxying a few things, so my Manticore's pretending to be a dragon.
As they do.
And that empty base is a second Chaos Spawn.
I was just about to say, what the hell is that? That base.
Yeah, I practiced him for Rob's team event in about a month's time. And I'm trying to run out a couple lists for going up to Newcastle, is it?
Yeah.
Not a million miles away. Yeah. So yes. So first game, kind of deployed in such a way where he thought he was being really clumped up together defensive, hiding behind that big bit of rough ground in front of his army to try and slow my advance. But I got lucky and rolled Arcane Agency. So I hung back with my level 2, who hung back at the back of the army outside of dispel range, and Arcane Agency the dragon over to the side to basically pick what I wanted to do in going into turn 2, and also move me out of arc for Plague of Rust. And this is also what you do
under range of the catapult by the looks of it as well.
Yeah, was as well.
Yeah.
This is what you do against TMP armies. You
stop
basically
being able to have the space to get out of 6
Where does he teleport to?
Yeah.
He teleports like either here in front of there to get out of the dragon's arc, but with the Chaos Spawn there, or he teleports over here and with the Chaos Spawn here.
Yeah, so I guess the question is, like, if he casts TMP now on that unit of Skellies on the left,
yep,
that's within 6 inches already of one of your units. Does he have to move? Does he have to move then? And then, like, what if he can't move? What happens? Like, I assume just the spell fails or something. But like,
yeah, I'd go for that as well, rather than an impassable game state.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically, you rushed up forward, got the dragon into a position where it could do whatever it wanted, and it proceeded to do whatever it wanted for the next few turns. By the end of the game, I think I had 6 or 7 Ivor Gods results on it, because it was either killing people in challenges until it got the unit of Marauder Tribe Berserkers here managed to join in as well, and we were able to accept some challenges on the behalf of the Chaos Lord. But again, killing the unit with a standard for Wolves of the Sea gets you more rolls on the Ivor Gods table, and eventually I managed to grind through that unit, lost most of my backfield to Sphinxes. As you can see, they're both comfortably towards the bottom of the picture there on the wrong side of the board.
The Scorpions
from my point of view. Yeah, Scorpions were like pain in the neck. But come the end of it, I think at one point both Scorpions got into that empty base of a giant Chaos Spawn and managed to snip him in half with big sharp claws.
Nice.
But I'd won by about 400 points from the end of it. So really happy with that. And played against a player of John's caliber.
Very good.
And then this was game 2, where again John deployed on the other corner of the table. You'll notice there's one model missing from this photo after John's first shooting phase.
Dragon.
So that game did not last more than about 45 minutes.
What game was it? The casket spell?
He didn't actually need to use a casket. Between Plague of Rust, the 40 poisoned archers,
the bow
Shapti, and the catapult, which is literally in here at the top corner of the board, doing 4 wounds to my dragon to take it off the board.
Beautiful.
So effectively he killed that in turn 1 after I'd moved forward.
Yeah, and then he doesn't have to respect anything in your army then, really, does he?
No, I managed to push this Necrosphinx off the table with a unit of Hurskills, but this one took the charge from this unit here and the unit of Hurskills, which are just to the side of this building. Took 2 wounds because it was in range of a casket's debuff. So -1 to hit, and the 6+4 just added up. And yeah, by that point I had not a lot left, and he had an army left, so we called it when I'd lost about 1,000 points in 2 turns of shooting phases. But yeah, so it's definitely I think it's a John favoured matchup, Tomb King favoured matchup, but it's not undoable with the right spells or me not being an idiot and deploying the dragon in such a way where he gets to just do Plague of Rust. If I put the dragon to the left of my army over here, flew it up, don't care about these killing blow things, just presume I'm going to be fine, so I'm only taking 1 charge, and I try and kill stuff that isn't going to kill me back easily.
I do think GW made a mistake with all models in a unit can shoot at large targets.
I do think so as well.
Like dragons are the only things that can potentially survive that. It just means any other fun big things just doesn't see gameplay now if you're in the competitive scene again when there's blocks of 90 100 poison shooting models.
I mean, if there's only 40, so 40, 5 bow Shapti and a catapult killed 10 wounds of a dragon.
Yeah, but make them shoot in an extra rank against large targets or something. But then you obviously, then maybe you see 20 wide units. But I don't know. I think.
But even then, if it's 20 wide, it's hard to get everything shooting, isn't it? Because you've got the arc on a model by model basis.
I think I'd have kept the shooting the same in terms of what can shoot, but just give them like +1 to hit. So you're getting less shots, but hitting 1 better because it's a bigger thing. Yeah. Because then it kind of almost negates that argument of who can see, because essentially the large target rule overrides the normal shooting, doesn't it? Over the rule. So you're not changing your rule because it's this. You're adding a rule because it's this. If you did the +1, but I mean, me personally, I tend not to really run dragons or anything, so or large targets. Sorry,
until you
it's not really. But that said, down at our local club, not many people run like the big blocks of, which is weird because John's there. John's part of that club as well, but like the 90 goblins and all that kind of stuff, we don't really see that down there. So I don't think it's ever been an issue. There's a lot of dwarf players, so normal line hammer guns. So
yeah.
Keeps that day.
Right. And that's the end of my slideshow. So,
shall I remove you then, Liam? Shall I remove you?
Yeah.
Who
wants to go next? Shall I go
next? Dan, show us.
Right.
Show us
so
what you've been up to.
I've just been busy this week with everything and Mother's Day. So it's Kate's first Mother's Day, being a proper mama. So we'll start with some, I guess, which is Warhammer, but not Warhammer. Liam, this is all Liam's fault. So I found my box last week of War Master, and they were like, "Oh my god, yeah, War Master!" But you obviously we spoke about this a long time ago, anyway, with Liam.
Yeah.
And then he showed me all this terrain and stuff. I'm like, I'm actually really jealous. So yeah, I got my War Master out and I had it all ranked up. I've got quite a cool little army. Did you say this was just under 2,000 points, Liam?
No, that's just under 1,000 points.
Under 1,000, yeah. So I'm halfway there to an army.
So are these games?
Usually 1,000 or 2, like army construction in War Master is done by like minimum units within 1,000 points.
Okay.
So like a high off army needs to have a general no matter what, and then 2 units of spearmen and 1 unit of archers to every 1,000 points or part of 1,000 points.
Yeah.
So he's got like enough models there to do a core of a 2,000 point army.
Yeah.
Just needs to add cool stuff around it.
From what I'd seen and what I'd watched on like the YouTubes and stuff like that, there was a lot of similarities between Old World and this, the way the combats go and stuff like that. The stuff I've been watching, so I'm like, oh, I bet this is actually quite an easy transition over to it. And yeah. So definitely want to be playing that. I'm just going to quickly click onto my thing so I can slide across and I can speak from here. Right, yeah. So then we've got what else were I doing? Oh, right, yeah. Let me start from right at the dish front. Sorry, I'm clicking because I've done this the wrong way. So we went to ChillCon at the weekend. There's my lovely wife. So we actually went to college.
She is real.
She is real. I do have a wife, yeah. So 20 odd years ago, we actually went to this college. So it was at Hillsborough College in Sheffield. ChillCon, which is like a salute, that type of thing. I'm a head show where there's loads of different stuff. There's a bring and buy sale. There's painting competitions. There's a massive, I think it's an Imperator Titan, which I'll go into in a second because I've got some pictures of it. So I actually, as you all know, I was painting that spider, wasn't I? So here's the finished article.
I recognise that head in the right behind Kate.
So this is the final spider I finished. See the little spider right in the top behind as well. So yeah, this is what I took into the painting competition there. I thought, I'm an okay painter. It's okay. It's not probably my best work, but I'll do it anyway because I put it in. So that's my spider I took, and I also decided I was going to start building all my goblins, my wolf cavalry. So that's just my wolves. And I put this on Facebook, and I got absolutely well. I'm still getting hammered for it actually. I put, do I have enough wolves? And I was like, nope. Those ranks aren't complete. I'm like, oh, God, that's not one unit. That's just all of my wolves. So I did that, and then I've just got some pictures of the painting comp and the Imperator. I think it's the Imperator.
I'd recommend you make some molds of those tails because they go.
Yeah, everyone's told me that the tails just go. I was half tempted just to like weld them in.
Yeah.
There it is. It's actually massive. It's incredible. It's like, when you go to one world and you go in the big center one where you're looking around it and there's like different hidden things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've got them all on the computer, but so there's assassins and stuff hidden in like the towers and like at the back of it there's like a canopy where all the engineers are and stuff like that. I mean, it's really well painted as well for such a big model. It's really, really nice.
It looks like something out that should be in like the Mortal Engines series.
Yeah.
Like it's like a city on a.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I'm not into 40k, but that model, just the level of hobbies is just insane. And all the small knights on the floor are really well done as well.
Is that just like? Is that a model, or is that like heavily?
Yeah, that is. Well, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure it had rules, but it's a thing in the.
Yeah.
It's scratch built though. It's not. There's never made a model.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's obviously using bits of GW things, but
yeah.
I mean you can't really see just the side, either side of the head. There's like what they called, like what they called now, purity seals and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But every single bit of thing has actually got writing on it and stuff as well, like actual writing on it and all the flags and whatnot. Like the level of detail is insane. So that's
a nice simple display board. So,
yeah, just a literally a
garden shed
battle mat.
Garden shed.
Yeah, it's a 4x4 garden mat, isn't
it? Yeah, just a battle mat. It's fine. Put that down. Display board. And then there was a painting competition. Obviously, what I entered, but as soon as I saw some of this stuff, I was like, I ain't winning nothing here. So I'll just go through some. I've got a few picks. Oops. So it was an open category as well. So this was vehicles. Sorry. So it was an open category. And was vehicles, infantry, all the usual stuff. I mean, there's even, I don't know if you can see Alariel's bug. He's towing something as well on the top shelf, which is like this because it's that open. There's like what do you call it? Is
weird and wacky
Legion one. What's the Legion one called? The 30k one. There's a rhino there as well. Look how tiny it is compared to all the other stuff. But yeah, it wasn't obviously just GW stuff. There was other things there. So there's like, I mean, look at the horse house thing, which is made of blood. Weird and wonderful things, and like there were a lot of these burst things as well, which is really cool on the bottom there. But they're all really, really well painted. And I would just not embarrassed to put my stuff on there. I was like, yeah, I'm not winning nothing here. I love this as well. The little dioramas.
Yeah, that is nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. More stuff. I mean, the stuff I like. Well, there's the blood house, horse house.
Yeah.
Annie.
Yeah.
From,
yeah. And so now I just saw the name and I that was my favourite, just because of all the blending and the shading on it, and it's like that game that I wasn't allowed to talk about, Liam. It's painted very similar things to that. So
it is.
That was my favourite. That got my vote. And another one here, look, cyborg miniature. It's cyborg samurai. And then the Nurgling pit. I loved that. And Kate liked that one as well. In the background there.
That's cool.
Yeah. Again, another
people with blooming talent.
I know. I hate people that can paint. This is cool. 18, but the 18 orc. Yeah, that I enjoyed this one. Just some others. I like the blending on the wolf. Light to blue to purple. And then a good old classic one to finish on. Enjoyed that.
That's done by Luke Foster, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
really, really nice. So these are 3D printed miniatures as well, I believe. I think they're from they're from one of the sponsors.
Lion Tower.
That's it. Yeah. So they sponsored like the whole thing. They had their Crystal Collapse, I think it was called. Which, if anyone's ever played Final Fantasy Tactics, it's basically that on a board game, which is cool. So
I've got an army of their stuff I used for very quickly.
Yeah, the models are really exciting because
abandoned King of War army.
Yeah, because they're usually STLs, aren't they? You can buy, but they actually had some printed ones out at the thing at the event. I didn't buy any though, but they did look nice, and that's one of the get off the road exclusive miniatures. I don't think you can even buy anymore, but there. Oh yeah, so I did a painting competition, speed painting competition. You get 20 minutes to paint a Space Marine, and I won. I won a cup, a Chilcon water painting cup, and some paintbrushes.
Nice.
So I can't complain. Won something.
Done.
I know. The guy was like,
how many competitors have you have?
Well, it was
just you, was it?
So they did it in intervals. So there was 10 spots, so 10, 9 other people. But he was like, "Oh, you've edge highlighted it." I'm like, "Yeah, it's amazing what white paint can do."
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, cool, yeah, you've."
Yeah,
so I enjoyed
that quickly. Get it dry quick enough in 20 minutes.
Kate took a very blurry picture of the back of my head. And then that's just all my bits and bobs I bought. So I bought some actual proper paintbrushes, some actual thin line ones, and things in my kitchen as well. I managed to pick up another white line chariot, so now I've got 7. A great cannon because I needed another cannon to make it 3, and then
so it was like a bring and buy sale as well.
It
was like a bring and buy sale as well.
Yeah, there was, but it was like the old style one where you essentially bring your items, you got a raffle ticket. Your raffle ticket went down, and it weren't like stalls.
You got your money at the end,
there weren't enough. Yeah, there was just no room.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah, that's
awesome.
That was my. I have got other stuff actually. Let me see where they are. I've showed them you anyway.
Show us on your.
Where are we? Let me find it.
Lift it up.
They're here. Right. Okay. So this is what I bought from my friend Tom. AOS rubbish nonsense. Quite a lot actually. Forget the orcs, they've gone. But yeah, quite a decent amount. Good. I'd probably say these, give or take, maybe about 4,000 points of Beastmen. So I'm quite happy with it. All painted very nicely as well. I just had the task of rebasing them all. So that's what I've been doing the last couple of days. Well, yesterday and today, because we brought them yesterday. The worst part is actually on that one, you see the bases are all really, really nice. So I was like, I'm going to try and snip them off as best I can. I'm going to give you them back, Tom, because you can see a bit of a few there, but they're all been properly done by Tom because he's a good painter as well. So these are all pre-painted. Well, Tom's already painted them. A few bits missing, but I've had to do some repairs. But there we are. That's literally what I took about 5 minutes ago, well, before we started this. So this is the list I'm going to be running at the club on Wednesday. So I'm going to try them out. See, look at all my best to go, Jack.
I'm disappointed in the amount of Ungo.
Yeah, I've got 20.
Yeah, 20 like 200. Give us 200.
No, because Liam will start crying and he'll probably quit the podcast.
Dark in the sky with arrows.
Yeah, exactly. Ungo arrows. Yeah, so that's my weekend. Well, this week. So I've actually been quite busy. I did play a game. I did play a game on Wednesday, but as I've explained to you two in the group message, it was a bit rough because I did play quite a competitive Bretonian list, and it was horrific. It just killed everything. I was like, I didn't kind of enjoy that because Al, obviously I run the Warlocks with, was just picking models up. I was like, this is not fun for anyone. So
how did his event go today?
He actually went 2-1 and finished second, so I'm happy for him, and won best painted. So I'm really happy for him. Yeah, he's done all right. Yeah, I think he only lost to the eventual winner, which was Matt. Which I think you played him actually, Liam, in the last event you did at mine, Matt Baker. I think he was either running his Tomb Kings or his Wolves of the Sea.
I think it was a normal chaos list.
Oh, maybe not. Yeah, really lovely guy.
Yeah, double dragon at like 17.
Yeah, so he won the list. He won the weekend the event. God, can't speak. Yeah, so yeah, well done to Alan and everyone at the Barnsley Club. Cool, Jack.
Over to me.
I know. your wheelie, here it is.
Yeah. So I started off last podcast saying I was going to spend some time painting up the orc, the new orc war boss. So I got some base colours down on him, and then I was like, oh, you know what? I've got an event in 2 weeks.
I was going to say this doesn't look very orky.
A week from now, and I was like, you know what? Let's just start a new army. Well, when I say start a new army, get an army out of the garage and paint it. Finally get around to painting and building it. So I'm just going to give you a run through of what I've been doing over the last week. So this is a week's worth of painting so far, and you'll notice that the bases are all in various stages of disarray because half of them are partly painted. But I've got a week yet to go and finish off. So a nice black coach, which I've tried to make it look as if it's sort of taking off into the sky as it's gained its starting to gain its ethereal powers, and you sort of see I've done the sort of Ken Wraith drivers sort of starting to go ethereal on one side. I'm not too happy with it, to be honest.
Are you going to say you're going to take that stick out?
No.
I think you should do. I think Liam mentioned it to you, didn't he? I think you should do almost kind of what's on the Miao Ying with the maybe try and extend the stone to one of the wheels, maybe.
Yeah, the issue is it's metal, so it's heavy.
Yeah, oh, God, yeah.
But yeah, I think the stick's there, and
of course it's the old metal black coach called.
Yeah, it's very and it's weighty. So that's as good as it's getting. But yeah, I think I'll pick up a second one probably, and I'll probably paint the second one as like a transition going ethereal, sort of from back to front. So like the horses and like the front half of the chariot will be ethereal, and it'll sort of blend through into the back of the black coach. But yeah,
it's incredible actually how big it's got.
Yeah, that one's ridiculous. I don't know why they added the second rank of horses on.
Yeah, I mean, why?
But yeah, no, I do love this whole model, and there's the vampire in coffin sat inside the thingy.
He's actually in there, isn't he? Yeah.
So that's one of the models. A corpse cart. So this wasn't quite finished yet. I've done a bit more work to this since then. I've repainted the robes green on the necromancer. Sort of gone over it with a wash and sort of picked out a few more details. I made the issue of not reading the instructions properly as a built list. So the body of zombies, the zombies in the cart wouldn't actually fit snug to the base. So I had to put a load of basing material on the bottom of the cart.
I don't think it does anyway, mate. I think I built 2 of these and they don't fit properly.
Oh, really? What, there's supposed to be like an inch gap where they're just hovering?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I feel that with base materials made it look like there's like soil on the base of it, which the bodies were piled up on top of.
I like the Tesseract glow you've done on the flames.
Yeah, really so that's the sort of colour I'm going for my like ethereally magic-y type stuff across the army.
I do love this guy, the necromancer, the actually baiting the zombies with this teapot. Let's go, guys.
I think he's supposed to be towards the back of the corpse cart, but I've thought like if he's sat there, it looks much more like he's got the carrot on the stick type thing.
Yeah. Let's go, let's go.
Yeah. So you'll notice, I was trying to use this new photo box thing I've done, but it wasn't working very well. So
do you know why, mate?
I need some help.
Do you know why? Because you've gone black on a dark model. You need to go white.
Oh, you think go white as the background?
Yeah. Okay. Because you can then, if you're doing them like for the GW stuff, like the ones I did for Liam, the high elf stuff, you can just you don't really need to edit them massively. You just need to turn the exposure up, and
so I think that's what I said.
Black out, white out.
Yeah, you'll see throughout these photos, there's various ones of me trying the exposure on different levels. So some are like darker.
Yeah. Do you have a light in that photo box?
So there's a built like ring along the top, and then I just had like a big light just poking through the hole as well, just to try and add extra light into.
I'd go white because you've got dark models.
Yeah, because there's that sort of black front. This bit is like removable and there's different colors, but the sides would still be black. So I'll try the white one next time.
See, that looks brighter.
Yeah, White King BSB.
Nice.
Looks good.
Love that shield.
Yeah, so that's
cool too.
Nice. Yeah. Then we went for this is the White King on schedule steed that I was converting up before I saw that new one from. So he's from the Red Duke.
Ah, okay,
the old Red Duke model. Who you'll see in a minute on a new horse, because I thought this one suited the White King better. But yeah, cool model. I still need to add a lot of like weathering. I've been doing like the bronze rusty bluey coloured weathering on some of those you'll see a bit further on. So there's still some work to be done, but we'll have some progress pictures anyway. Necromancer,
classic.
He's a cool old model. So you can see I've started doing a bit of the weathering on this one.
Yeah, is it Nicklick Oxide, is it?
Yeah, that's right. I'm not quite sure. I need to watch some videos to see how to actually apply it, because currently I'm just dabbing it on and it looks a bit random and crap. But
have you dab it on and then just literally brush it with a cotton bud?
Okay.
Or try and, because it kind of rusts around joints and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking like I need to be putting it like in these bits and
and
like
see
under these bits rather than just
so do that and then just brush over the top with almost like a dry brush to get it off.
Okay.
It's the way I do anyway.
Yeah. Manfred. So he's going to be I think he's going to be my vampire lord. So I started initially just grabbing things out of the boxes and being like, yeah, I'll paint this, and then yesterday was the deadline for the list submission. So I finally got around to deciding on a list yesterday. So now I've started being like, okay, well, I need to have a vampire lord on a steed. So I was like, okay, I've got a few options, but I'll use Manfred. So I'm just in the middle of finishing this off. But it's such a cool model. I decided to go for this like blue skin tone on the vampires, like making it look like there's no sort of blood in the veins and stuff. So that was not contrast paint. That's real paint on the skin. So I actually even did a highlight. So I'm very impressed with myself.
Yeah, it does. I think the blue contrasts really well with the rest of the colours.
It does. It really pops.
Yeah, because you've got the warm, and then obviously with the skin being colder, it's like Liam said, pops.
So yeah, I was quite happy with how that's coming out. Then the Red Duke on his new horse. So he's I've painted up like 3 or 4 different vampires on steeds to have as options. But yeah, I think Manfred's taking the lead currently.
I'm happy you've gone with steeds and not the dragons. I know obviously we were talking that they're so expensive anyway, aren't they? But
mainly because they're due to be delivered middle of the week, and I don't think
fair. So there was plans.
So there's well, I had like 2 lists that I was basically looking at, like a cavalry list. Like I didn't want to go screams, so I was basically like I either want sort of a zombie dragon monster mashy list or this sort of fast moving cavalry army. So I decided to go for the cavalry army, but
that's the fashion these days, cavalry armies.
Yeah, but maybe for the teams event that Liam mentioned earlier, I might bring the dragons out. So yeah, Elsif himself. Then this is the first model that I painted after I pulled the vampires out, because I was watching a battle report between Team England and Team USA on the live stream a week or two ago, and Abyssal Terror was used, and I was like, I've got that old model like in my cupboard somewhere. I'm gonna get that out and give him a repaint.
So that's like the oldest dragon ever.
Yeah, and it's nowhere near a dragon. It'll get crushed by any dragon.
But like a really big horse, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's a cool old model. But
it's only
I don't think I've ever seen. Yeah, so I must have bought this probably early 2000s, 2001, 2002, something like that. So it's old. And I don't think I've ever seen it on a tabletop anywhere. So it'd be nice just to actually see it in person on a table. Here he is, coming charging at you. A couple of foot characters, because initially I was thinking a big block of Graveguard with a load of characters in. So the old Mordheim Necromancer there, skeletal, White King BSB and a Vampire BSB.
Is that freehand on the banners?
No, it's transfers and then painted over. I'm not that.
It's almost like tracing, really, isn't it?
That. Yeah. I wish it was freehand, but no, I'm not that talented. Then I decided to repaint my two Terrorgeists. So they were like a garish red color, and they were probably the first models that I painted with contrast paint. Probably like 4 or 5 years ago initially. It was horrific. Like there was just paint overlapping everything, and loads of. It was when I primed it just in white, so there's loads of like white, really obvious white bits where you couldn't quite reach with the brushes and stuff like that. So, and I'd left all the sprue bits on because I hadn't like. So I was just like, no, I need to tidy it up and then give it a repaint. So I was quite happy with how this came out. So just still need to finish the base off. Got this little skeleton popping out the ground and stuff, so quite happy with how that came out. Some Blood Knight conversions.
Yeah, so the chaos.
So it's the chaos speeds. It's the Cold One Rider bodies, and then just some random heads. So yeah,
is that a vampire like going back to his steed? I'm assuming.
Exactly. It's like in the lore, like they'll turn into bats, and appear and reappear. So I was like, only had 5 of these heads.
You should have got one of the new Soul Blight giant bats and put him on it. He's probably bigger than the horse, but comedy.
Yeah. So I was like, so at one point I was thinking about using Bloodlists in this event, Blood Knights in this event. I was like, I need a couple of extra ones. So it didn't have any more heads.
It works. It looks cool.
So I was just like, I'll just pop a few more. And I was like, I'll try painting this one in bronze rather than silver. And I really like it, so I'm going to have to repaint the silver on these ones to bronze.
Yeah, the bronze goes with the rest of the army as well.
Yeah. So at first I was like, I'll paint these in silver, like the slightly upgraded Elite units, and we'll pretend like the get upgraded armor. And then I was just like, no, I like the bronze better. So they need to get another repaint over them. But,
looks a bit more uniform.
Yeah, but there's a few of those to go. A couple of these random little Banshee / Kern Wraith models that I picked up on God knows where, but they're quite cool little models.
Are they goblins?
They look like a goblin.
Yeah, they do look like goblins.
Along.
Yeah.
But just this nose.
Yeah.
I don't think they are. I think it's just the way. Unfortunately, this green doesn't show depth very well in photos, so it just looks like the.
Yeah, I use it for eyes, and it is X-ray. Is it X-ray flame or whatever it's called? That one.
Yeah. The Tesseract Glow. This one.
Tesseract Glow. Sorry. Yeah. I just don't think you can. There's no paint that will possibly highlight. Like.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like trying to find something to wash it with to just bring out the depth. But
what is it? I forget what it's called now. Beltane green, maybe.
Yeah, I've got that, but then I think that makes and just literally put it in the dark recesses rather than doing a full wash over
you could even mix
model.
it with Tesseract Glow just to darken the Tesseract Glow down, I guess. Maybe that could be a shout.
But I think these are cool models, like the sort of chains coming out the original bodies and like sort of holding them into this sort of world as such. And this little guy with his little lanterns, quite cute. And then so the big unit for my army next week is these Black Knights. So again, some more conversion work. So the old Bretonians with skeletal bits added on.
They're very British racing car colours. British racing green with bronze.
That's it. As I was painting an army in a week, so I was like, I need nice, simple colour schemes. So this is, I think, Space Wolves grey with a bit of a dry brush over it for the horses.
Okay.
Archangels green for like all the cloth and that sort of stuff. But no, I'm happy with how these come out.
Isn't it? Really effective.
Yeah.
It works. Yeah.
So the bases just need a bit of snow on now, and that these guys are almost done. And then some of these cutie fellas. Six. So I'm still waiting for 2 more of these to arrive from dreaded reselling sites that were supposed to arrive on Thursday, and they keep being delayed. So I'm hoping they'll get here in time for me to throw a layer of paint on before next weekend. And just a nice close in at this little fella, because I think these are adorable and should be in.
I love how they've got like cookie cutters as noses.
Yeah. And then so this is where I sort of originally started off with these Graveguard. I got bored of them after 10 of them, and I was like, let's try doing some different models, and then suddenly cascaded into the rest of the army. So I've got 10 more of those to paint up. Although I haven't seen those new Graveguard now, I'm like, well, maybe I'll just get them instead and try those out.
That's when you start off your undead Kislev army.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the thing, Jack. You're going to be ahead of the game, so you're going to do vampire counts, but then you've also got Kislev army.
Yeah. And then some bat swarms. So these are from the Cursed City.
Oh yeah, I would have said I've seen them before. Yeah.
And some bits that I could use as unit fillers. The Cursed City mod. So I painted the Cursed City box set up a couple of months ago. Been sat on my shelf like 2-3 years, and finally got around to painting it up and played a game or two with one of my friends.
Like the Kazgari Guard or something.
Yeah, and this is like some special character type thing, but I just thought it'd be quite cool as unit fillers if I need them at some point.
Gorslav, I think, is it Gorslav the Gravedigger, something like that?
Something like that. But I just thought they're all awesome.
I love his spade because it's just an axe, basically.
Yeah. And then this guy that'll double up as a
Vargsia.
The fast dryer or whatever it's called. But yeah, again, just a very simple model that was, took me probably 5 minutes to paint, but I think it just works.
Yeah, it does, mate.
Nicely.
Yeah. The Cursed City models are awesome as well, to be fair.
Yeah, they've all got a lot of flavour. And yeah, the main issue is that unfortunately I painted the Cursed Cities using this sort of red scheme, and then started painting my new vampires with the green scheme, and now I'm like, okay, maybe I do need to go back over all the Cursed City ones and paint them all up green to.
No, I don't think you do, because they've got the bronze.
Yeah, they tie them with the bronze.
Yeah. And I think because you're using this unit fillers, they'll pop out as well, and they'll look different, which is what you want, I guess.
Yeah. They're more obviously unit fillers.
Yeah.
And that was my whistle stop week of vampire action. A bit of a frenzy, really.
It's ridiculous that that's been a week.
I know, yeah. No.
Here's what I've been busy doing. I've painted 1,500 points in a week.
Do you know what, though?
Yeah, I didn't play any games, though.
No, true, yeah. I mean, to be fair, it only seems like a week since we did the last one, but that was nearly 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been episode 3. So, yeah, life's just flying at minutes. I think everyone just got excited about Cathay because that was announced Thursday.
Yeah, it's been 3 days. 4 days.
Yeah, exactly 3-4 days as of recording. It's that's flown, and that hype's going to be. I think that hype is going to be going until. I mean, they never actually said when it was going to be released anyway, did they? So that's just going to go until they pop out, and then then people then obviously going to be like, oh, we need the peasant stuff now. Let's wait a year or so, maybe.
Yeah. So I'm almost there with this list for next weekend. I just need to tidy up a few things. Need to do 5 dogs, and these last 2 bats when they appear. But we're there.
Are you using the vampire count dogs? Or are you using the newer?
The old vampire count dogs. The old vampire count dogs. Well, not the wolves that are your goblin wolves. Like the
Yeah,
the undead ones.
They were dire wolves, weren't they? But the old dire wolves, not the newer one. So the newer ones just basically like the space wolf ones. Just a little bit more dead.
Yeah. But these ones have got their guts hanging out and skulls attached to them and that sort of stuff. So I just need to bash those out, and then I'm almost there and ready for the weekend. And I'll probably talk my list and results.
Where is the event you're going to?
So this is Colchester Clash. So it's hosted by.
You're going with
the Duke Scott McHugh.
Scott, yeah.
Of Triple Crown history. Nice. So this is his first sort of standalone event down in Colchester. So it's like an all-in-one hotel meal, full whammy thing. So interesting to see how that plays out. I think there's 60 odd players going.
And a massive waiting list.
Yeah, it's got a big waiting list of like 10 players, something like that, who are all excited to
seen the
go.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it should go well. Like obviously I'm going in with a new army. I've never played Undead before. So I'm not, and having looked at some of the lists, people are going hard. So I'm not expecting anything incredible, but I'm hoping for a top 10 finish. Would make me very, very happy.
He says he's not playing Screamerless, Liam. Look at that behind him.
More engine.
No, this is a very old one that there is one on the painting table as well, but just for
horrible.
Just the two Mortis engines.
Yeah, just when I need to bring it to give Liam the pain.
Oh well.
I can see it. Oh right, now I know what you were saying about the 3D printers as well, Liam. The one I'd looked at were probably half the size of that one.
Yes.
Look at the size of that. In fact, you should. That's what you have been doing, right? You've been.
I fixed that because it's been broken for about 6 months.
Yeah.
But it's all fixed now. Not yet. New parts broken.
Itch.
Can we just pause for 2 seconds while I just run to the toilet quickly?
Absolutely not.
Of course.
I'm sure we can spit all
hold.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to comp next, weren't we?
Yeah, because there's been a bit of a. There haven't been any kind of upheaval or anything like that. But I think obviously with the Renegade FAQ, which Val and Rob have done, which I mean, kudos to them because I couldn't sit and try and work.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and I know they work really hard. Well, Val especially has worked really hard on the Manti with getting all the data and what he thinks should be changed. And I think there's only out of all of them, I think there's only been there's been a couple of not even moanings. People are saying it's a bit strong, which is the is it the ethereal tomb guard? No, not tomb guard. Sorry, the temple guard. Sorry for lizard men.
I do think that lizards have potentially been pushed. This is totally. I have not played them. I've got
no experience with them because I only play the ones out of the rule books just for the pure fact from the TO perspective. It's easier when I can play the armies that I know what's in the books.
Sorry about that.
We were just starting talking about comp.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You didn't wait for me.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't really start talking. We just were saying. We're just saying there's only been obviously. First and foremost, Rob and Val especially done really well with putting all that together. It's a lot of work, and I don't think we could do it with our full-time jobs as well as doing this. So and we were just saying about there's only really been 2 grumbles about certain rules. One being obviously in the group chat was the Temple Guard rule, or giving the Temple Guard.
Yeah, so I guess comp. So you're talking about comp as in.
The Renegade,
tweaks the rule changes rather than a comp as in minuses for certain units.
There's loads of different categories, aren't there? When to play fantasy back when, comp is compositional changes or modifications to a list without changing rules. It changes what you can take, how you can take them, and then you've got things like Val's Renegade pack, which is like another step above that, and is basically rules changes.
Yep. Yeah.
But within that, and then you've got tournament packs which maybe sit somewhere in the middle, where they might, for example, I don't know, looking
at
at
10 wide and 10 wide units and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have scenarios at events as well, which is another way of like shaking up how you build a list, because you might need certain units or types.
I was just going to say, actually, so I was going to the Black Country DT, where the guys down there had put in the some older missions, or they've put newer missions. Sorry, not the generic ones that we've got. They've got their own missions within there as well, which shook things up a little bit, and they've got a bit of their own comp as well with that. I can't make it now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was hoping to see the GW 2,000 point special scenario. I was hoping to start to see that become involved in some tournaments. I've not seen it anyway yet, so I was hoping at some point we might see that. Like, I haven't even tried playing it yet to see how it functions as a game mode, to see whether it's actually usable in a tournament or not. But like, it just looks like it would. If you knew one game of your 5 was going to have to cater to, your core being able to capture something and that sort of stuff, I think it's.
Is that the one?
Some armies would definitely have to change the list around, but.
Is that the one with the Waystones? That one?
Yeah, it was a high elf versus Sword of the Sea kind of campaign they did for the Warhammer World Anniversary.
I know a couple of guys have played it at the club on Wednesday, and they said it really tailors towards a defensive style, like a dwarf. So he was playing against dwarfs, and they were the defender where you got the 2 objectives.
Yeah.
And they just don't shift; they just stand there. Because there's no like you core, like you say, your core have to because it's just any unit can capture Waystones into
only core,
which are pretty much most of the dwarf armies. Core.
Yeah.
So it tailors towards, but I just think that was the matchup more than the actual mission.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've not played them personally yet. Element in Sheffield, they've started to do on a Monday through April, playing the 500 point mission. They're doing like it's almost like a tournament, I guess, but it's every 4 week, every week in April on a Monday they're doing that, and you can fit three games, and I think they timed it too. So I mean, I'm going to go anyway because I can go straight from work. But 500 the comp, we go Kent again. The comp for the 500 point one's interesting.
Because it's like a hero.
So it's like the lower level hero, but it's like I think it's only like 125 points can be spent on that character. Then everything else can be whatever else.
No ogres then.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but there's also like a unit cap, isn't there, as well?
Yeah,
so it's 175 points, is it?
2, yeah, for your core infantry and stuff like that. Yeah,
it gets you like
so
20 dwarfs.
Yeah.
I think the Bretonians are going to be quite strong in that because you can still make quite a fighty. Not the Paladin. What's the next one? Baron, is it?
Yeah.
You can still make quite a fighty Baron with just a unit of knights, 2 units of knights at 500 points. That could be quite interesting one. Or just put them all on Pegasus. Why not?
I mean, it's like comp as a whole, seems to have really sprung up over the last probably about a month or so.
I think it's that thing we're 12 months into the game now.
Yeah.
And GW don't seem to be putting out. There's been no mention of an official General's Compendium or slight rule tweaks. Like the FAQs have done a very tiny bits, but nothing to the scale of what anyone wants. So I think it's the community have taken it on themselves to sort of try experimenting a bit to see how the game can shift.
So you think that's been driven by people wanting to see change and just not seeing it?
Yeah, I think it's that, and there's certainly armies which tend to be the legacy armies, which haven't been targeted so much in the FAQs, obviously, and there's just some armies which are completely unusable. Skaven, demons, and so which I think is what's led Val's sort of drive on his renegade pack.
I mean they did say that they weren't. They essentially said, here's the rules. That's what you've got.
Oh yeah, they're very clear.
Yeah.
They also said Cathay wasn't coming.
Yeah, well, they've also said a lot of other things. But I am surprised that they haven't even even slightly touch some of the stuff that needs clarifying, because
they did that very first FAQ. They did some very slight changes in those legacy books, which sort of gave a bit of hope, and then just haven't touched them since.
Well, the thing is, if you've got, I don't know, it's what, 2 guys, we think, are the majority of the rules team for it.
I think probably maybe
they've got 75 hours a week if it's 2 of them.
Yeah,
like, there's only so much we can actually get done. And would you rather?
Let's be honest, I don't think Games Workshop, and even especially the team, would have thought it'd have blown up to the magnitude that it has.
No, I think it's pretty clear that it's gone way better than they thought it would have gone.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, if you've got the choice between dedicating those 2 team members to writing rules, developing story, making sure that Cathay or whatever is coming in the future is good, where people are going to buy new models and sell lots of.
Well, yeah.
Or you're going to make the Lizardman army where everyone's already got one a little bit better. Where are you, as a business owner or a company, putting those resources?
Well, if you make those armies bad, then they'll buy these new armies, right?
Yeah. Well, that's it. First and foremost, I think sometimes a lot of people have to realise that GW are a business. Unfortunately, before the hobby and the community side of it, they have to make money to survive. It's just that people like us seem to pander and spend as money for it. But but yeah, I mean, yeah, they're every right to do what they want, because it's their thing. And I think as much as it does sometimes really annoy the communities, there's not a lot we can do other than do a Val, or guys who write their own tournament packs and stuff like that. Then that's on them to do. I think. Yeah.
Be interesting to see how many people take on the like Val's rule sets into the tournaments and stuff. I think it's probably at a stage.
Go on.
It's at a stage where it needs probably some. Obviously, I think he wrote them in like a week. I don't think he actually gameplay tested them. So I think it's one of those where. I think it's one of those where he took a lot of advice from people, experts from those armies, and sort of, this is how they used to be, or this is, the fundamental issues with the armies. And I know Lizardman got a big, hefty upgrade. I think they had maybe someone shouting louder for their cause and the people that were helping him. But
he's changed the Howder rule as well, didn't he? He's put in there as well. He's
changed the Howder rule. He's done a lot of changes for the Lizardmen.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see how they fare on the tabletop as a whole across the legacy factions, and see whether, have they suddenly become broken? Have they suddenly become on par with existing armies? Are they at a point now where you might see them in top 3s of tournaments? Or are they just, can we just get them from the bottom to the mid tables? And I think people would be happy enough with that if you can get them to the mid tables. As a consistent, whereas Skaven, you're lucky if you win a game with existing rules.
I think
unless you go really hard into some nasty.
Got to run a Death Star.
Got to run the Death Stars, yeah.
I think it also depends on the TO as well. I mean, I've said that my events in Sheffield, I won't be using it for the pure fact I don't have time to learn all of the new FAQ for it, and to be fair, the guys that come to mind, I don't think there's many. I think there's a couple of vampire counts. Trying to think what else I've seen.
Let's see, because for like
mainly vampire
7 of them, there's like one fundamental change. Like vampires got +1 leadership on the vampires, and screams nerfed slightly. Ogres got Iron Blasted nerfed slightly, and Lead Belch is improved slightly. But so like I think for the majority, it's not huge changes. It's just like the Lizard.
Is there anything in the Chaos Dwarf one? There's a few Chaos Dwarf players, weren't there? I think when you come last time, Liam, there was 4. I think.
Yeah, I think basically you can have the elite infantry as core now.
Okay.
And you can put
the Iron Guard, is it?
And you can put the sort of lower level heroes on the big flying cows, and I think that's pretty much the fundamentals of the changes on them.
But are you not worried that it kind of creates this divide between, like, Val and Rob are very clearly the loudest voice as far as content for Old World goes, and well-deserved slot in that.
Yeah.
But is it not?
Until we get there.
Yeah, give us another 18 months. We're still doing it.
18 years.
And the rest. Yeah.
But that kind of separation where I'm all for, like, I'm for comp, generally speaking. But kind of like where people pick events based on what they can do.
Yeah,
and then
it's a hard one, isn't it? Yeah, it really is tough.
Yeah, I think it makes like stuff like the old world rankings difficult as well. When you know, you don't, someone might be tailoring to those events where the Lizardmen are really good, and it's sort of, and yet if you put the three of them into a GW, you know, GW, I don't have Lizardmen, but if you threw them into a GW GT where they were playing Legacy actual rules, then suddenly, like, are they gonna, is that a reflective position of where they're actually gonna sort of end?
It's also lots of different things going on. So it's kind of like if you play Lizardmen one week at one event, and they're using Legacy rules, and then they're using what GW have published, and then you're like, well, like, you couldn't do that last week. Why can you do that this week? Like, I didn't do enough events. That's a problem for me. But some people, I imagine, do.
I think it's even worse if you do lots of events, because then it literally could be week. If you're only doing one event every 3 months or 6 months, then it's probably not that big an issue. But
I mean, as a TO as well, it's going to be, we're going to have to deal with those types of questions. Obviously, you run your own events as well, and I mean, I like I said, I've personally, just because I know there is maybe only a few changes in it, but I can't just sit down and read it all, and then, because obviously the people that come to mind don't necessarily play the Legacy factions. I'm just, that's just something I'm going to have to deal with.
Do you think that's because of the state they're in? And do you think if you did this new comp, then you might see them bring in the Legacy armies though?
I don't know. Well, this is it. I don't know.
A lot of the players for you are new, aren't they?
A lot of them are, yeah. So a lot of them.
So they don't have a
they're
garage full of
they're not Jack. They're not a garage full of Legacy armies. Yeah,
but then I said I do like comp, and it's for that changing aspect of it. Like, I'm not saying the game's solved. Well, not even that, but I'm not saying the game is solved as it is. Like,
no.
Death Star's good, big monsters that are ridden by characters, good. Pegasus, good. Ranked up infantry, not so good. But I like the idea that you can't just build one list. You have to build a collection. And when different people restrict different things or push something a little bit up, you get to change what you're taking.
Yeah.
And that's exciting in regards that it's not always the same game. And I like that aspect of comp.
Yeah, like after your fourth event of you playing the same list against the same list on the other side of the table, and you know what's going to happen unless something very weird goes on, then it can become a bit stagnant until someone rolls a miscast at the wrong time and can't cast any magic, and then that suddenly stops them being able to TMP the massive block out the way. But 99% of the time, you can, at this point, you can probably guess how most games are going to play out.
This is what I'm doing at the minute with my events, is staggering them out. So the next one is it's Throne of Skulls comp, basically. It's exactly the same. So the character limit and stuff like that. The next one is the teams one, which is 1750. All you can. But I think we were, like Liam was saying earlier about the comp in terms of points. I think that adds enough changes in there. That dropping that 250 points adds enough in there to not even need to worry about saying, "Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that," because you've got to think about what you're taking at that points level, because you will lose something from the obviously from your 2K list. And then
but I do find that the drop from a 2K down to a 1750 definitely hinders some armies more. As
it does,
you're saying, like your Chaos, you can still take 2 dragons.
Yeah.
You can take a Sorcerer and a Chaos Lord. Whereas something like a Beastmen list, you suddenly then I can either have a Great Grey Shaman or a Doom Bull.
Yeah.
Like I can't definitely some armies definitely get hamstrung a lot harder.
Yeah, no, because like even with the Warriors of Chaos, if you take your 2 dragons, but there's not much else.
When do they if
you come up against something that can potentially one shot or do enough damage to each of those dragons, you've lost the game, haven't you? Let's be honest. Like if
that's
you come
the same
into
at 2K though. Like the rest.
Oh
of the
no,
list,
yeah, I know it is.
the other 1,000 points
you've
in
got
your
stuff
list
to
is
back
just
it up with, haven't
surplus.
you? You've got another unit or another 2 units or whatever. I mean, personally, I like 1750 because it does make people think about what you can have, and because it's under that the 1 per 1,000 bracket. That's where I'm each. But I think Warriors of Chaos is probably the worst example because they can do what they want anyway, regardless of what point it is. Yeah. So
Chaos, which are the two strongest armies anyway.
Exactly.
So it feels like if you take them down 70-50 and you're making them even stronger. Like
But weirdly, nobody plays Warriors of Chaos. They always play Wolves of the Sea. So
it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It is a lot of fun. I do enjoy that.
Yeah. I guess as well, if you know your audience and you know the sort of people that are coming to your events, and you know this, you can make changes that aren't gonna see some people take it to the very competitive tip of the mountain and have max out and min out to the hardest degree. Then I guess those things you can do, but I think trying to do that at an actual a top end competitive Worlds GT type thing, then you see two armies there. You see Warriors and you see Berets.
Yeah,
well, I actually think what you just said, where comp shines, it's the fact that it's no secret that while we can all play competitively, we quite like the top edge taken off and just lowering down a little bit.
Yeah.
And actually doing that, I think, leads to a better game. Generally, a game I want to see and want to play more of. And just taking that top off can mean that more people enjoy it. But like you say, it's knowing who's coming, being clear with it prior to an event, and making sure that everyone knows what to expect.
Yeah, and I think that shows into what armies we play and how we play. Like I started in 8th edition, and I'd always go to tournaments with a positive. I'd always go in with a +3, +4 style list. So, like, for those of you who don't know about sort of historic comps, your negative lists would be your filthy lists, and you'd sort of, they'd go down to like -5 or 6 or 7 if they're really nasty, and then you'd see positive lists of +4, +5, which would be basically fluffy armies. So I always like to go in. Like, I know I could go somewhere, take a really filthy list, and win 4 out of 5 games. I'm confident I could do that. Whereas going in I really liked handicapping myself, taking something people perceive as weak, and trying to, even if I only come out with 2 wins or 3 wins, and just making people look at something and go, oh, actually, maybe that army isn't quite as bad as everyone's made out to be, or like. So that's why I sort of went into my ogres in the old world and was like, everyone's negging on these, everyone hates ogres, so it's unplayable. If I can bring them in and find something that works and makes them, it brings them off the bottom tables and just make other people look at them, and then instead of just one person around the world look at them, if you get a community of people playing those different armies, then someone out there will find a list that really works well. And it's just trying to draw people in to say, don't just ignore these armies because there's not a traditional dragon in there to win the game for you. Like, go explore these, and it just adds for a better, well-rounded, funner game. And when you see different armies on the table, instead of just coming up to your table, what do you see? Dragon. Or 3 dragons.
I mean,
well, that's coming back to what you were saying before. It's like you said about Skaven being useless, and I think it's generally accepted to probably are the worst list in the game. But between Jack and Ed, they managed to regularly go 3-4 games at events through playing into a certain style.
Yeah,
and that's just showing that you can do things if you're willing to invest the effort into getting it right.
Yeah.
Well, Rich is the same, isn't he, with the dwarves?
They were exactly. Start the edition, everyone's like, dwarves, infantry, not good.
Yeah, when they first come out, they were like, the dwarves are too slow, they're not very good. Okay, here we go. Then you're not going to kill me. I'm just going to kill one unit and win the game. That's almost how they are. And they obviously don't always just play like that, but they're unkillable, aren't they? Pretty much, some of them. Yeah. Or you're not going to get the full unit, should I say? But yeah, I mean, going back to what Liam was saying as well about enjoying the games. I said at the beginning with the game with Al, the Bretonian list I took, it had the 5 Pegasus Knights with a frenzy banner, was just hit and killed everything. And then I had a unit of 9 Grail Knights with a level 4 in it, which was never dying because it had the 5-up regen on it all the time as well.
Yeah.
Magic resistance, everything. You couldn't get Vile Tide, but like I said, 2 guys, it were in combat and killing stuff all the time. That just wasn't fun. Like watching Al literally take his models off, I was like, yeah, this is a bit crap. This.
Yeah, but how many times has he made you take your models off when he's Vile Tide? Did you?
Yeah, no, because I hate Vile Tide, but that's my own fault. Well, he couldn't get Vile Tide off because everything were in combat, and yeah, it'll upset him a little bit. What ended the game was I'd killed most of the stuff anyway, but he kept Infernal Gateway in away from all of my stuff, and I managed to get a charge. I ran through a unit, managed to get a charge off, and then line myself up ready to charge the chariot in my turn. It was my turn, and I charged them, and he decided to flee. I think it was like 11 inches off, going off the edge of the board, and he rolled a double 6. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll call it there, mate. Yeah, I mean that's just dice at the end of the day, but still, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, like dice can happen, but it's saying you're playing Warhammer, you're investing a minimum of 2 hours, probably 3-4 hours into playing someone, and you want to have a game. I don't want it. I want to have a set of structure where we both know what's going to happen, and we can end up playing a full game.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons I kind of stopped playing AOS. I mean, obviously, you guys know I run AOS events as well, but I stopped playing AOS competitively because they don't last hours. They last half an hour now. Some games they can be over in a turn or two. And again, to me, that's not a game. It's seal clubbing basically, isn't it?
Yeah, we pay a lot of money to go to events.
Exactly.
Spend a lot of time on our armies.
Exactly.
We spend a lot of money doing that. So and I think you sign a social contract when you go to an event to say it's a 2-player game. Or I think you should sign a social contract. It's a 2-player game. We're both there to enjoy the weekend. We're getting old. We don't have that much free time. We've got other responsibilities. This might be our one sort of event of a month or 6 months for some people. Like they should, no one should go and have a miserable, torrid time. So I think there's definitely an onus on everyone to to sort of make it it doesn't mean you don't take filthy lists. It just means you don't be a horrible person.
But on that not taking filthy list thing, I think there's been a couple I've seen recently that I think I really like the look of, and that'd be German comp and Aussie comp.
Yeah, you sent me this, didn't you? Yeah.
So the German comp's like, it's not full Swedish old style comp, but it's like you get a limited selection of the really good stuff from different armies.
Is this what they'll be using at the World?
I doubt it. Well, they haven't voted yet, have they? So people will say why they want different things.
I know a lot of them are thinking that they're going to be doing like Throne of Skulls style stuff, but I haven't seen the German comp to see how it.
I did mind the Throne of Skulls comp. I felt the Throne of Skulls comp was alright because you could still get filth in it, just not the high level as some of the stuff can be. But I don't think it was enough for Throne of Skulls. I don't think it was enough for Throne of Skulls. I think that pack would be quite good for like a GT.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see obviously how Throne of Skulls plays into the legacy factions as well, because obviously we made those lists only looking at the core armies, so it'd be interesting to see. Obviously your vampires, you usually see 2 level 4s on Mortis engines.
Yeah. 47 even then, everyone gets affected the same, don't they? So a level 4 and a level 3 on Mortis engine is still way better than most people's.
Yeah. But then I don't know. Some armies like Escavens that might have relied on multiple level 4s to have any chance to suddenly then sort of hamstrung potentially. But be interesting to see how if these sort of bigger GTs take on that Throne of Skulls compact. Just out of interest to see how the legacy armies sort of like slide up and down the scale.
It'd be interesting to see if they ever did like almost a Throne of Skulls where you have to take an Arcane Journal army. Now, obviously, they're all due out. That'd be an interesting one. I think that'd be quite fun.
Cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's your obvious power ones is your Royal Clans, your Mortuary Cult. I think they're the 2 power ones, aren't they?
Your Brett.
Yeah, Exiles. I mean, either of those, the Exiles or the Errantry Crusade are both very strong. I think I'd seen a list of
Errantry Crusade yet.
So that again.
I wouldn't go for Errantry Crusade being massively strong.
No.
You lose control of it after turn
that's
1.
what I used against Alan. It was strong.
But then you've got your Orcs and Goblins like Trolls and
the Troll Hide. The Troll Hide's solid. It's so good. The Troll Hide.
But I don't know. I don't know if you're going to see.
I think the weakest one would probably be. I'd probably say at the moment the High Elf one. The Trace one is good. It'd be interesting to see what the Beastmen and the Wood Elves get. We'll find out soon, obviously. But the Empire ones are a bit meh as well. They're okay. They're female, obviously, but in terms of competitiveness, I don't know if they'd be up there. But yeah, that'd be something I'd be interested in doing that though, just to see how well the Arcane Journals did.
Well, there you go. That's your September event.
Yeah, but then, like Jack says,
all the Arcane Journals should be out by then.
I'm knocking out Legacy armies, then, aren't I?
You'd hope
all the Arcane Journals should be out.
We've already said that no one or very few people bring Legacy armies to your event.
True, yeah. Yeah. I might put it forward. Jack, you can't come, you only play Legacy.
Give 6 months for those other people to build a new army.
Yeah, true. Or just paint the ones they've got.
Build that cafe list, presumably it's out in time.
Yeah, that actually, I'd be interested to see how that would, if it's going to be an Arcane. I know it is an Arcane Journal, but
I was just thinking that. Is it going to be just? Is it going to be like basically the section out of, your forces of fancy book, or are we going to see multiple army style lists in that book? Because it's only the same. It's the same size as the Arcane Journal. So unless there's just no fun stuff, like fun.
We know somewhat
behind
it. So, presuming that the models we've seen are the models that are in it, and there's nothing either way, you've got a special character, you've got 2 normal characters, an infantry unit, a foot unit, 2 war machines, a balloon, and a sentinel. And that's 9 army selections.
So do you think that balloon is sort of like replacing an engine? You don't have an engineer in this list. You have the balloon as your alternative to an engineer. That instead of getting rerolls, you get this line of sight.
But say each one that isn't the infantry or the cavalry are 2 pages worth of rules. You've got 2 magic laws, which could be on the same page, and you've got the Grand Army composition page. That only uses up half the book.
Yeah.
You say you've got the magic items the same as everyone else's Arcane Journal, so 4 or 5 in each section. You've still got the best part of 20 pages to play with. In that,
so do you think those 20 pages are just lore, or do you think there's 2 different army styles? And
I think there'll be a couple. I think.
Or do you think there'll be a Or do we think there'll be a follow-up Arcane Journal later down the line introducing stuff?
So you haven't played Games Workshop games like me and Dan have for the last 10 years.
I've never played a supported game before.
Yeah. So what they've done with I think the best example of this is Lumineth.
Yeah.
They brought out an army.
Yeah, Lumineth.
They brought out an army box. So Lumineth, Realm Lords for Age of Sigmar. You got this army box, and it had 3 unit types in it and a character. And then they brought out another 3 or 4 characters and another box set to go along with it.
Yeah.
And that was your army for like 9 months.
Yeah.
And about 9 months to a year later, you got another section of stuff, which was another 2 characters, a couple of named ones.
Cow. A big cow and some hammer wielding elves, which doesn't never make sense to me.
Yeah. And again, next time people are expecting another set of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
To come, and they build it up in layers. So I'll be very surprised if we don't get something similar here, where you have like, I know it's a different studio, but it works. If a main studio doing it and it works, copy it, copy the homework.
And the thing is as well, the Arcane Journals you don't mind spending money on. So I think I've got 4 Lumineth Battle Tomes, which were all probably out in the space of a year, which is not great when you're playing an army. And I own every single model for the Lumineth because it's it's the high elves basically, aren't they, with Teclis and everybody? So
okay.
yeah, that was an expensive investment, and like I said, the multiple battle tomes month after month or whenever, they weren't far apart, put it that way, compared to some armies where they wait a year and a half for an update. I'd be happy if they said, right, so this is what you've got. What everything they show, that's what you've got. That's everything in the Arcane Journal. You'll have the Great Gate Guard, maybe, because you've got the Gate Captain, sorry, and then you maybe have the, I don't know, like maybe an artillery regiment or something like along those lines. Like a Black Powder thing where you've just got the Miao Ying and all that stuff in it. Maybe like an Imperial one, let's say. And maybe those are the two things.
My gut feeling is if Armies of Infamy were going to be in that book, on the blurb on the community website, it would say what they were going to be in there. It highlights the magic laws, it highlights magic items. It doesn't mention Armies of Infamy.
Yeah, so they might just be Grand Army to start off with, like you say, and then layer it up. Because as we said at the beginning, there's a lot for them to work on if you're going from the Total War.
But none of the other Grand Armies have named characters in?
No, we don't. But it's still an Arcane Journal at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I wonder I wonder whether the interesting.
They'll be added to the Old World 2 army books, I'm sure. When when and if we get an Old World number 2, which I'm sure they will because of how successful it's been. With added.
Maybe after Kislev or after whatever the next one is, I reckon probably get two new armies and then ready for the revamp or a second wave of Arcane Journals or something.
Yeah, that big book, the big rule book, has Kislev and Norska, doesn't it, as separate?
Yeah.
Like not
all the
pictures. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if I was a Betterman, I'd be saying yes, them at some point before Warhammer 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
But Public Tennis has been going for 5 years at this point, so I think got a second edition 6 years.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're definitely not on the same schedule as Age of Sigmar and 40k, where it's every 3 years.
But they've done like they've done with this though, and they've added armies. So they've obviously added Mechanicum and stuff, haven't they? In the Solar Idyllia now, which are all plastic as well.
Have they had brand new armies brought into the?
Yeah, they have. Yeah,
and how have they been updated going forward?
It's the same as like Lumineth. You get a book with maybe 7 or 8
almost
units.
Strip feeding, isn't it? Strip feeding units, yeah.
And then every, 18 months, give or take, probably not that often, maybe 2 years, you're part of a 2-player box set, which will have a new unit, a new character, and an existing unit in it. And that gets added to next time your book gets printed.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's a good place to finish out, Jack, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you want to call it there? Mr. Legacy Man?
So we'll see you next time. I'll probably give a rundown of how my event goes. Maybe we'll try and get a special guest on.
What I will say is I've been invited to go and speak to Stuart Miniature Realms, which I'm recording Tuesday as of today recording, and he's going to come on with us. So look forward to that. I'll get a date for us all. We'll have his first proper guest, and he's a bit of a star in the hobby world as well. So we best be on best behaviour.
yeah. I might be able to pull in some smaller fry fish.
We'll do that.
Some insights into other episodes. But
small fry fish.
Yes, but we'll leave it there. And thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Like and subscribe. Get us up to that 50 subscribers. Thanks very much, guys.
Get us to 50. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.